This week, long jumps, a soft landing, high fives,
High five, blind girl high five.
and squeaky toys. December the 3rd marks the UN International Day of Persons with Disabilities. And each year on Click, we use the occasion to look at some of the latest technologies helping to change the lives of disabled people. This is the Beazley Designs of the Year exhibition at the Design Museum London, which features some great examples of inclusive design. This is MySleeve, silicone grips that make crutches more comfortable. They're also magnetic, so they snap together and can be held in one hand. Disables is a 3D printable add-on that makes small buttons bigger and more accessible. And the Kangaroo is a concept mobility robot, which can carry your shopping for you. One area of cutting-edge design and research which is playing an ever-increasing role is prosthetics, particularly in the world of sports. This is Paul Carter. Hello.
Hello.
You've been looking at some of the latest prosthetics for us, haven't you?
I have.
And you started in, well, a place that seems pretty non-obvious to me.
That's right. I went to Reykjavik in Iceland and I went to see the manufacturing process and the story behind the iconic running blade, the prosthetic running blade, which is now synonymous with Paralympic sport. And what people might not realise is that there's a huge amount of research and design that goes into making the blades, but also developing them and testing them to make them faster in the future.
Right, and you've got a pair of blades yourself?
I do. I'm very much a non-Paralympian. I'm not really built for running, so I decided to leave this one up to the professionals.
Here at the headquarters of prosthetics company Asar in Iceland, they've gathered a team of serious Paralympic athletes for some even more serious testing. These athletes have a stack of medals, world and national records between them. And they're all major contenders at the 2020 Paralympic Games in Tokyo. They're providing Asar with feedback and data about the performance of their prosthetics, which, it's hoped, will lead to better performing blades in the future.
We're going into a lot of biomechanical analysis. We're looking into different ways of applying the carbon fiber techniques and trying those out. It's a bit of trial and error, obviously, in all of it as well.
First invented in 1976, blades have been commonplace in Paralympic sport since the mid-90s. And they've come a long way.
So I've got a selection of running blades here on the table in front of me, and different iterations through the years. And the one thing that really strikes me is it's kind of been evolution more than revolution. I mean, this was the original design, which is now about 20 or 30 years old, and it's kind of got that classic sort of C shape that you can recognise. I mean, these are the blades that I personally have at home. I need to wear them more than I do, and this is the flex foot, which again was a slight moderation on the original design. And then from there we progressed to this one, which introduced this bend in the backside, which spreads the load when you're actually pushing down. It spreads the load. I mean, they don't look that flexible because I'm not strong enough to bend them, but these actually take quite a lot of force, and all of that force is distributed along the back here. And fast forward right up to today's Cheetah Pro, which is this one, which is it's not a million miles away, but it's come through quite a few iterations to get there.
But I couldn't come all the way to Iceland without actually seeing how they're made. And the design and manufacturing process is more involved than you might think.
Wow. I'm used to hospital workshops, which are kind of usually one man on an Allen key. This is insane. So this is sheets of carbon fibre fabric. You can see it on this machine here being cut into strips. It's actually mind-blowing to believe that these really thin little pieces of fabric just here will eventually turn into one of these. What's amazing is you can actually see the process following it all the way through. You've got the start of the process here, then you've got some moulds on the left which we're not allowed to show you. Now this is essentially a giant oven, and once they're laminated and pressed together and covered in the resin, they go into one of these which applies temperature but also pressure, which is really important because that's what condenses these and gives them their solidity. I wouldn't much fancy getting inside one of these things. Probably end up with a bend.
I was fitted with a blade in 5 minutes, and I started running on the hallway in Asar for the first time in like 13 years or something, 12, 13 years. And it was a day that I will always remember. So,
how did that feel, running for the first time?
Running for the first time after the amputation was like finding the wind in the ear again. I have to be honest, there were tears.
Each blade is customised to every athlete, taking into consideration their physical attributes, running style and the forces they're applying, as well as the sport that they participate in.
We're dealing on the biomechanical side with the most advanced gate labs that are available. So we're talking about Vicon systems, force plates, that are basically telling us, objectifying what it is that the athletes are trying to tell us as well. They're telling us what it is that the foot is or isn't doing to make sure that we understand where we can potentially tweak.
The design process draws parallels with that of motorsport, where changes are being considered that can shave fractions of a second or add small distances to performances.
And what was that transition like to having something that's been kind of personalised for you?
It was really nice to have because I could give feedback about how I felt and what I would like to feel. So that was good. It really felt like we had the room to search for something that fit my personal running style. And it's different for everybody. So there's no one golden rule regarding blades, and it's really fun to realize that, and that you can really you don't have to do what the Paralympic champion is doing, because that might not even be the best for me. So it's good to have the opportunity to search for the right blades with a team of people around me. I switched blades 2 months ago, category-wise. I went a full category different. So we're still not, well, I'm sure now that I have the right blades, but it's only been 2 months. So within the 4 years that I've been doing this now, we've been changing, we've been adjusting the alignment, and the alignment in winter training is different than during races. So it's a constant change and development. It's never done.
The new ones, they are helping the athletes a lot. The times are getting better, people are getting faster, so it has something to do with the prosthesis, and also people are getting more professional in the Paralympian world.
Blades are essentially springs. They can't return any more energy than is put into them, but concerns have been raised about just how far development can take us. Is there a risk we go beyond merely the physical capabilities of the athletes?
A carbon fiber blade is not able to provide active positive energy, and that is what the human leg does. So if you look at it just in that simple manner, you're always going to be slightly underperforming if you're reliant on a blade that is not able, like a muscle, to produce 200-300% of the power if you're contracting it in a sports activity. Could we potentially integrate structures that could make a higher level of propulsion? There might be an opportunity for that. At this stage, that's not at the order. We're not looking for that. We're looking to get people to maximize their performance with a device that supports them as well as possible, but that I would say is definitely giving them the fair opportunity to compete.
Hello and welcome to the Week in Tech. It was the week that ride-hailing firm Uber was told it won't have its London licence renewed due to what Transport for London called repeated safety failures. Uber is appealing the decision. Google fired 4 workers known as the Thanksgiving 4 over what it calls data security and employee safety. Other employees accused the company of punishing them for speaking out. Spot the Robotic Dog has been working alongside Massachusetts State Police. Boston Dynamics' 4-legged friend has been trialled for the past 3 months, helping with live incidents as well as training runs. Staff at NASA have been busy bees. They've released the first Astro Bees on the International Space Station to help astronauts keep the place clean. These worker bee robots clean the air and will seek out a charging station when they're exhausted. And finally, the Royal Navy will be flying a different kind of jet from the deck of HMS Queen Elizabeth. This jetpack, made by British firm Gravity, allows the wearer to fly up to 32 miles per hour for 5 to 10 minutes. I'm guessing you'd want to know if it was going to be 5 or 10 minutes in advance though, wouldn't you?
Earlier this year at Click Live at the Hay Festival, Mazie was a part of one of our most memorable moments. Mazie, are they working?
Yeah, I can see your microphone and I can see that you're smiling and I can see the buttons on your shirt.
Take a look at the audience.
Yeah, they're waving.
I
can see there's a lady in the front with a red jacket. The guy next to her is wearing stripes. Oh my god, it's so amazing.
Following that episode, many of you got in touch to ask whether Mazie got to keep the Give Vision glasses. Well, we're happy to say that she did, and we asked her what she's been up to since that show.
So what have you used the headset for since?
I suppose the most exciting thing for me was going to see my favourite singer, Pink, live in Cardiff.
I bet she looked epic.
It was the most incredible night ever. I cried so much and danced so much and just had a fantastic time.
It's so amazing what technology can do for us blind girls, isn't it?
It's incredible, it really is.
We wanted to get Mazie back on Click, so we teamed her up with journalist Lucy Edwards, who's also blind, to take us on a tech tour of blind life and to test some new innovations along the way.
I lost my sight 7 years ago. Navigating the world can feel like a huge challenge, even with my gorgeous guide dog Olga.
I usually use my guide dog Willow to get around, but today we're trying out a new device, the WeWalk Smart Cane.
I think Olga's a bit confused with the cane.
The device has a round sensor to detect obstacles. I paired it with my smartphone and AirPods to send me direction. So my AirPods pick up the information from my phone and the navigation system reads it out to me. When we got there it said Starbucks now on your right, and yeah, by then we could smell it anyway, couldn't we? When I was using the cane it was always vibrating. That's buzzing a lot.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, the buzzing got really quick, so I knew that I was in front of something that was quite a large obstacle. This might be an improvement for some cane users, but personally I found the feedback slightly overwhelming. I can imagine it could probably get quite difficult to detect what's important and what's not important.
I was excited to show Mazie an app named Microsoft Soundscape. It uses 3D sound to point you in the right direction.
You can hear the sound as if it's around you, and it's like you're in the software almost.
Facing southwest along World Piazza.
When you're tuned into the app, it will name nearby shops and restaurants. It even highlights what's on the pavements.
Is there bike parking in front of us?
One useful tool is the ability to set an audio beacon, say if you want to find your local supermarket.
65 metres west. Okay, right, it's making this tip-tap sound.
Tapping sounds help guide us in the right direction, although we did manage to walk past the shop door.
I think you don't quite believe that it's to the right of you.
At least we had our guide dogs to help us find the entrance.
At home, some of the simplest tech can actually be the most useful. But big tech companies like Apple, Google and Amazon are also trying to make their technology better for people like me. Most of the time, I use my smartphone and Apple Watch. It's so great that it can connect to my Apple TV, and you can get it to play your favourite moments. Lots of smart speakers now have audiobook services. One new and particularly unusual audiobook is called Unseen. It's the first ever audio comic book.
When you hear this sound,
That's
the
so
panel
cool.
has
Yeah.
changed. Cover, the word unseen in bold letters, slowly fading as the word ends.
No one ever does that. That's the
woman's face
typeface.
is
Describing the
Obsidian.
pictures and each panel, which
The
is
heroine
the big part of
of
comic
Unseen.
books, you know. I can't wait for Unseen's creator, Chad Allen, to release the next segment.
I don't know who the hell you are.
I don't know who the hell you are. What's what I do?
I was also excited to try a new device from Bristol Braille Technology.
This device that I have in front of me is called the Canute, and this is the very first ever several line Braille display. It sounds like a typewriter.
Using buttons at the base of the device, you can upload books, PDFs and documents. The multi-line layout is great for feeling diagrams. It's an easier and quicker way to read.
It's nice that you can use something like this and not have audio all constantly all the time. Are we reading Braille?
Yes. I was even more impressed with the next device we tried, a pair of Orcam smart glasses. These use a camera and artificial intelligence to read the text around you. And you can use touch, voice and gesture commands to change its settings.
So what you do, Mazie?
So I have got a magazine, and if I point at a line,
I always say that there are two
It's reading it!
We surprised Mazie with a book from one of her favourite authors.
Caitlin Moran.
Oh, cool.
The Orcam tells you the time from a
tell you
glance
the
at your
time.
wrist.
The time is 3:29 p.m.
Yay!
And can name who's standing in front of you.
right?
Of course, I wanted to see if we could get it to recognise Mazie. The device does this by remembering the unique points of a person's face, a bit like a map.
Just swipe my head round. Oh yeah! High five! Blind girl high five.
We also tried a new feature, the ability to scan food product barcodes. This was a hit.
Tomato cup soup!
Remember to hold your item about a foot above the countertop.
Alexa, what am I holding? I was really excited to test the new Amazon Echo Show feature. You hold a food item up in front of the screen camera and move it around until the device tells you what the item is. It was difficult knowing whether the item was centre screen, and this threw up some less than accurate results.
Show me another side. It looks like vanilla Coke Coca-Cola
Oh
soda
my
drink.
god!
That's cool. That's really cool. Oh, see, that's
so
something I've done that so many times. Like I've picked up like cherry Diet Coke by mistake.
yeah.
So we've actually also just been told that that wasn't vanilla Coca-Cola and just regular Coca-Cola. You'd have to really nail getting your snapshots correct to find this useful. It was so great to try all the technology throughout the day. The wider the choice of tech, the better for everyone.
Not everything today was a complete success, but the impact that blind tech can have continues to surprise me. I'm really excited about the future of accessibility tech.
Some fantastic innovation there, Spen, and one thing that's becoming clear in this programme is just how much is out there that's enabling people to be more empowered and to live more independently.
Yeah, and for people with learning disabilities, for example, there are plenty of innovations to help them do just that. Paul has been to meet someone for whom the Internet of Things is helping to make life just that little bit more easy.
This is Adam. Adam has Down syndrome and lives in his own home, which includes some specially designed technology to allow him to live more independently. Here he's using a tablet that contains a range of bespoke applications to help him with tasks in everyday life. in this instance, cooking.
So can you show me what you've got on here, Adam?
On there, yeah, I'm doing the blueberry muffins.
Nice.
That's the ingredients.
Sift 3 cups of plain flour into a big mixing bowl. Make a well in the centre of the flour.
Here it shows step-by-step instructions with pictures. But the technology goes much further than just recipes. It's part of a project called Connected Living, a partnership between the learning disability charity Mencap and telecoms company Vodafone. The platform utilises a range of technologies bundled together under one roof, literally.
I am afraid.
From smart home devices and IoT-based sensors, to more simple reminders, to-do lists and instructions.
A lot of the elements in Adam's house is all on IoT, Internet of Things, things that are connected, machines that are connected to each other, that provide long-term, low-latency connectivity. A lot of it is stuff that quite a lot of people are familiar with. You know, smart lighting is not a particularly new concept, smart locks, not a particularly new concept. But what we've done is we've packaged it all together and then we've put it into this user interface, which has been tailored very specifically so that it is really user-friendly and it is just intuitive to use.
So we started off with a very, very long list of the things, and these can be quite small things, the things that people might want to achieve. And then we gave that list to Vodafone. We said, okay, well, what are the technological solutions to that? And then we whittled it down to the things which we felt and we heard were most commonly going to be of importance to people. Technology is in all our lives really at the moment, nowadays, and will continue to be so. So we want to make sure that people with learning disability aren't disadvantaged by not being able to access technology.
It's designed to be customisable to each individual user, with the hardware and software tailored to their needs and personal abilities.
I am thirsty.
The platform blends smart home technologies with things that Adam can use outside the home too, such as video calling a support worker if he needs assistance, or as a communication aid.
Right.
Yeah, fine.
Good.
So what would you do with the options on this screen?
The options, that's what you're allowed to do with your free staff. Like it's called one-to-one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can tell them where you want to go?
Yeah.
Which of these things are your favourites? What do you like to do the most?
Yeah, mostly I like playing pool.
Cool.
That's in the pub.
Let's go to the pub.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. Now it's more I'm tech now today.
Yeah. Is that good? You like that?
Yeah, I do. I'm tech.
Well, that's good. We like tech too.
Yeah.
There's 1.4 million people in the UK with learning disabilities who could use this, but also there's wider applications. If you think about people who go into a home as they get older, you know, they still want to be independent, they still need the flexibility. This can help them.
You know, you and I, we want to just be independent, we want to do our own thing. And actually, if technology can help people to do that, then it means that you've got greater control, you're feeling more independent, and the amount of confidence that is really increased in people is fantastic.
Most importantly of all though, how does Adam feel about his smart, connected home?
It just made me feel like there's another person next to you. That kind of feeling. Yeah.
Supported.
Supported.
Yeah.
That was Adam and his mum.
That's truly lovely, truly lovely.
And we'll continue to keep across all of this area of inclusive design and technology throughout the year, as we always do on Click.
In the meantime, don't forget you can contact us with your thoughts about what you've seen. We live on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter and Facebook, so get in touch with us and you can find us there all throughout the week too. Thanks very much for watching and we will see you soon.